Last week I held a hearing in the Subcommittee on Constitution, Civil Rights, and Human Rights about the new state laws that have been passed in 7 or 8 jurisdictions. They've raised concerns. I've sensed the concerns personally, but they've raised concerns because they establish new requirements to vote. Voter identification cards, photo IDs in some states, new standards for voter registration in other states, and reducing the period of early voting in many states. In many states, there are thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands, of eligible voters who don't qualify under the current new law to vote in the next election. I'd like to ask you, and the question came up in the hearing, why this is happening. And I asked if there was evidence of increased voter fraud and the impersonation of voters, which is what the photo ID is all about. One of the witnesses who was trying to defend these laws said, well, they're really not worth prosecuting, these voter fraud cases. And very difficult to prosecute. The witnesses aren't around. It happened in the polling place. Things come and go and so forth. And it struck me as unusual that we are setting out to change the voting rights of millions of Americans over something that even a supporter has said hasn't warranted prosecution. Can you tell me whether there has been an increased incidence of voter fraud over the last several years, particularly the impersonation of voters, that might give rise to this growing political concern?
Well, the why question, Senator, is in essence, in our analysis, one of the $64,000 questions that we have to answer. Because if you are analyzing a submission to determine whether there was discriminatory purpose, that's really the why question. And so in the work that we are doing now in connection with those a number of submissions, that's a question, whether it's a voter ID submission or whether you're changing the location of a precinct or whether you're doing any voter change subject to Section 5, that why question is very much animates the work that we do in connection with this. We will follow the facts where the facts lead us. We will obviously be guided by the Supreme Court's decision in the Indiana case, and we will undoubtedly be looking at the why question, because the why question very much animates a lot of our work, really whether it's Section 5 or Section 2, because if there's a discriminatory purpose that underlies an action in any state, regardless of whether you're one of the 16, then that's obviously a fact of relevance.